Hey guys, it's R and T here, and a special guest, which is Ruby from Ruby's Crazy Life, which is RUBIE. Go subscribe and watch her videos. Today we're going to be making ribs, and it's going to be pretty cool. Go on to the video. See you then. Okay, so today we are making ribs, Robbie style ribs. I'm about to trip on the barbecue, but Robbie style ribs.
2 slabs of St. Louis cut ribs, and because that's all they had was 2 slabs. So we had to get 2 slabs of baby backs as well. I don't like baby backs as much, but hey, what can you do? So we're gonna put our nitrile gloves on.
And as you saw in the intro, we have our guest, Ruby, from Ruby's Crazy Life, which is RUBIE.
Subscribe to her channel, huh, Ruby?
Yep, subscribe to my channel.
Ruby, could you hand me 2 of those gloves?
Yeah.
Make sure you get the powder-free. You don't want the powder gloves.
Thank you. Okay.
So, I've got
I need to get 2 gloves too.
paper towel laid down.
I need to get
Because we're going to remove this cryovac.
So if
Cryovac
you
is the
saw
packaging.
our explaining a barbecue video, you know that you're supposed to first trim off some of the edges and then take off the membrane.
But first, we got to remove it from the cryovac packaging.
Yes, that
And
is
what I like to do, I like
very
to
necessary.
keep it in this packaging like this. Carefully remove it so that all the
Juice doesn't spill.
extra liquid down there doesn't make a mess. And then I'll lay it down on the napkin. And see there, we'll just dispose of this in the trash can.
Okay. Okay, so he's drying it off.
Yeah, just pat it dry. Don't ever wash your ribs or brisket or whatever you're cooking. Don't ever wash it off with water. Just take it out of the package, pat it dry. So we got the bone side pretty well dry.
Flip it over to the meat side.
Flip the meat side, and
Dry it too.
it's mostly dry because we laid it on the paper towel. All right, now we're gonna do a little bit of trimming. This is the small bone in, and these first couple are they're kind of sharp little ribs, and we want to square them up and make them look as pretty as possible. You don't have to do this in the backyard, but I'm gonna go back a couple ribs, cut between the bones there. We'll save that, we're not gonna throw it away. We can smoke that as well. And this little top rib here, we're gonna cut it off. So we're gonna go right between that.
Very last rib on there.
Cut that
Just
one.
Cut there.
So now, we got it pretty square. It's looking decent, but
pretty sweet.
there's some small bones in the tips here. So we're gonna square that up as well. So we'll take it.
So trim like
Now,
1 inch to 1/2 inch off, maybe.
see all those little small bones? You don't want to be chewing on that. So now we just got nothing but the ribs, the rib bones. Square, pretty. We can toss this away. Now, there's usually a flap right here that we have to trim, but the butcher did us a favor and trimmed it already. Well, there's a little bit of one, but not much.
Is that the membrane?
Not yet.
Oh.
We're getting to the membrane. Yeah, there's a membrane right here on the back of the bones. So there's a layer of skin and then the membrane on top of that. And what we'll do is find that membrane.
Slightly pull it up some.
It's easier with a butter knife because this knife will cut through it, but I can manage it. See the knife's under there now? Just kind of peeling it up. And now I'm gonna take me a small piece of paper towel.
Which you did just pull from an aluminum foil thing.
And this helps from not slipping. Hold on 1 second, Ruby. Thank you, though.
Welcome, Daddy.
Get your thumb under there. Take this. start peeling the membrane back to the large side of the ribs. All right. Now we'll take it, once we get to this position, we'll take it and peel it off. That might take you a couple times because sometimes there's little cuts, small cuts.
Oh, good job, Ruby.
There you go. Ruby's
Ooh.
done this before. All right. Thank you, Ruby.
Okay.
Welcome, Daddy.
Just peel the rest of that off. And
No,
Next
this
step.
is good now.
Okay.
So that side's good. Watch it, baby. Now there's a lot of fat right here. I mean, too much. You want a little fat, but so we're gonna shave some of this off. Watch it, Ruby.
Okay.
then next step.
That's just, I don't like that big top cap of fat. I mean, you can get as crazy as you want to with it.
If you don't know, just subscribe too.
If you don't want any of this, you can trim the whole thing. I might trim a little bit more. Be careful in this process. I know I'm cutting back towards myself, but I've used this knife a long time. And I use a 6-inch Victorinox boning knife. It's semi-flexible. It's a good little knife to trim with. So we're done with that one.
Then repeat the process.
Repeat the process.
So the process with the St. Louis ribs and the baby back ribs, the exact same. Baby back. That's in a chili commercial. That's cool. Paraffin wax cube underneath the chimney. He has Kingsford blue coal in there and little wood pieces to heat it up.
The
Pit
wood
barrel.
chunks, that's where the smoke flavor is going to come from. The little wood post oak chunks. So it's going to have a little oaky flavor on the ribs. And now we're going to season.
Now that we're all trimmed up,
I like starting with the bone side up. And I use mustard, as we talked about when we narrated, or the voiceover on Malcolm's video, as a binder, just so I has something to stick to. You can use olive oil. You don't have to use anything, but I like using yellow mustard.
rub it all in.
Yep. And you will not taste this, but it does have, the vinegar and things, and mustard will also, I think, it breaks down some of the fibers in the meat and tenderizes it too. So,
And if you watched our testing rib seasonings video, you will know that we decided to use the Killer Hogs hot barbecue rub because we both gave a pretty good rating on that.
but first we're going to use Heath Riles garlic jalapeno rub, but we're just going to do a light dusting. This is going to be our first coat. It's going to give it a little bit of spice, but just a light dusting.
If you put too
All right.
much on this, will it really overpower it? Or will you?
Yeah, it'll get a little spicy and a little garlicky if you put too much of that, because that's just garlic and salt, pepper, garlic, and jalapeno. So light dusting of that, and then we're gonna go as our second layer with the Killer Hogs barbecue rub. And you can put a generous amount. You can't hardly over season pork. I say that, but
You
it's really
kinda can.
difficult. So, it's got some pretty color, just enough paprika to get to that red color.
It's gonna be good.
And you don't rub it, because that'll you'll remove the rub off your ribs, so just pat it in.
If you have mustard on your glove still, just don't mind it. Don't do anything. You won't taste it.
That's right. So now we're gonna flip it over to the meat side
Like he did.
and repeat the same process.
Rub in the mustard.
Yellow mustard,
And
smear it on,
I am not a big fan of mustard, but you cannot taste it at all in the ribs.
promise.
Yeah, like one time
Yeah.
he made ribs and he put mustard on it, and she didn't even complain because she didn't taste anything.
Yep. Now, once again, I don't want this to blow in your eyes, so get over here with me. A light dusting of Heath Riles garlic jalapeno rub.
Light. Super
And
nice.
then once again, go back with the Killer Hogs, the barbecue rub. This is a Malcolm Reed product. He's a great, awesome barbecue smoker, whatever you want to call him.
Killer Hogs, that's the brand of that's the video that we watched, that
Yep.
we had watched.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Malcolm Reed.
And a little peace sign
Once
from
again.
Ruby.
We're gonna pat that in and get Ruby in the face with it. Okay, and we'll be back when we are ready to put them on the smoker.
Yes. Now we gotta do that times 4. We'll see you when we're done with that. Just to give y'all a little picture view, y'all heard Malcolm say that they sweat. See how wet this one is? And see how powdery this one is? This one was our first one, and we just did this one. They really do sweat. Like even this one.
Yeah, the salt in there pulls the moisture from the meat, and it really helps that rub to stick like that. And you can see this one's been on for about 10 minutes. The rub, it's a lot shinier than, say, this one that's been on, 3 minutes.
Okay. We done seasoning now? Can we put them on the grill? The chimney looks lit.
Yeah, we're gonna let those coals. We'll go through the process in a minute, but we're gonna let these coals get super hot, and then we'll remove the grate from the inside, put our charcoal basket in the bottom.
Cool.
No.
If you look at the coals now, they are mainly white, and that means that they are done. And we can pour them from the chimney
That's
to
it,
the
Ruby.
coal thingy.
We're gonna remove the chimney. Be careful right here and use gloves that protect you. And I want Ruby to back up because it's hot. So we're gonna take our charcoal basket here with our wood chunks, post up, put it right in the bottom of our pit barrel cooker, right there. And now we're just gonna sprinkle these guys onto those coals down there. Onto the coals and the wood chunks. I like evenly spreading them around. And then they'll slowly start burning the
Other coals.
unlit coals. And this one basket of charcoal here will go probably, I would say 8 hours or so before you ever have to reload it. So very long cooks that you can do with this process. All right,
Nope, you have a coal left.
one more now, huh? Put that there. Now, we're not gonna use our grate because we're gonna hang the ribs.
So we're gonna use these.
So we're gonna use this rebar here. These rebars also act as vents for these holes. If you want it really hot and fast, remove these out, which allows more air, and it'll get a lot hotter. So we're gonna put the lid on, let those wood chunks get to smoking and smoldering, and then we'll be back in a minute and show you how we put hooks in the ribs and throw them on the smoker.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So they're all nice, sweaty.
We are. So, we don't lay, in the pit barrel cooker, you can put it on the grate or hang it from these hooks, and that's what we're gonna do. These are stainless steel hooks, and what I typically do, I used to measure and see where my hole needs to come out, but if you'll just go under the second bone, so you got 1, 2 bones, poke through, and that'll be perfect.
Yay. So 1, 2.
1, 2.
Isn't it? And it is the same on the baby back.
That's right,
ribs,
yeah.
correct?
Which I don't like cooking baby backs. I just don't like eating them.
But that's all they had.
That is all they had. Okay, we'll be right back. We're fixing to put them on.
Okay. So you do not entirely have to do this step, but Robbie
You
kind
have
of
to
got
put 'em in.
fingerprints on them, like
Well,
right there.
I removed some rub, and it
Yes.
happens. Just touch it up. You don't have to do this, but I'm kind of particular, to say the least.
Doesn't want anyone to have a spot without any rub.
Yeah, any naked spots?
Ooh, Ruby, you
Hit
ran
'em a
into that
little
car.
How about that, Ruby? Running into Mama's car. You want us to share that on YouTube?
Okay, so do we need to let this rub sit and sweat?
No, we're fixing to put them on.
Okay.
I am hungry.
This is very hot, so what I do,
And it takes 4 hours to cook.
I use cotton gloves for a base layer of gloves.
Ooh, you got a rip.
You can use, the old school cotton gloves from Tractor Supply or whatever, but I use rubbing gloves because they're a tighter knit. And then I go with these. Thank you, Ruby.
You're welcome, Daddy.
And you can pretty much handle anything
Welcome, Daddy.
as far as briskets, ribs, whatever, when they're really hot. Won't burn you at all. All right, let's load it up.
Okay.
Welcome, Daddy.
We've got some good smoke going. Look at that. Ready.
Just gonna take those
Take
hooks
these and hang them on the hooks, like so. Don't drop them in the coals. That would not be good.
Did you ever do that in your?
I haven't yet, but I'm sure I will.
That'd be bad.
Going in just like that.
Okay. Then how long are we gonna let them sit? About?
I'm gonna check them in 1 hour for dryness.
Okay.
Maybe 45 minutes. Probably 45 minutes.
And then you're gonna spray them with this
Yeah.
puppy spray.
You don't want them to dry out, so that's why we're checking them in 45 minutes to see how dry the ribs are. And I use a lot of times half water, half apple cider vinegar, and spray them down. But we don't have any of that because we're at Big Pops, so we're just gonna use the Parquet spray butter, and that'll keep them moist as well.
Just FYI, Big Pop is our grandpa.
That's right.
Okay, so we'll see y'all in 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, it's been about 50 minutes, so we're gonna check these and spray in Parquet.
And this does not get hot, so love this cooker. Ruby, can you hand me the spray butter?
Yeah. Can I spray it?
Yeah, 1 second. Take the lid off. And we got this little tool here to remove the hooks where you don't burn yourself. And do that. And we'll look at it. We don't need to spray. This one doesn't need to be sprayed yet. It's still pretty moist.
Okay.
I think
that one's getting a
maybe.
little dry. So spray it right up in here. You see the dry area, Ruby? Can you go ahead and spray it?
Yep.
This area right here. Oh, problems.
Oh, can I spray the next one?
Sure.
Can I spray the next one? Because it's my job.
You can spray the next one.
No,
And this
okay.
just keeps the meat from drying out. All right. Throw this guy back on here
Okay.
very carefully. You don't want to knock any rub off.
Okay, we sprayed the ribs one more time, but we didn't film it because you know how it goes. Next, we're gonna take Parquet squeeze this time.
You can use any kind of butter. I like Parquet. It's just easier to handle. Give you a layer down there. I don't know how I put these gloves on yet because
You gotta smear it in.
I have to dig in a bag of brown sugar.
Oh.
So light brown sugar. You can use dark, but I wouldn't suggest it. Light brown sugar.
Will it ruin the taste or the texture?
It'll just make it really, really dark, like almost burnt looking. I don't like the color of it. Plus, it'll get too sweet. All right, so we're just gonna, not a ton, but a good layer. We're gonna do this on the meat and bone side as well.
Ruby's watching Dirt Dauber videos. Like the little thing.
She's fascinated that dirt daubers build mud nests. It's pretty funny. So we got Parquet, some light brown sugar, and then we're going with honey. And if you want your ribs really sweet, you can put a lot, but I like them right in the middle. All right, we got that first one ready. And here we go. We are going to put a rack of ribs.
One rack per foil.
And I double my foil. I put 2 layers of foil for 1 rack of ribs. Just so it doesn't tear and you lose all your moisture inside. Sorry, I'm taking so long. Foil again. We'll get these guys out. That's what they're looking like so far. And see, you got to pull them by look. I like that color, but also the rub is pretty much sticking when I touch it. If you can touch the rub and it comes off, I would leave them on the smoker a little more, let that rub adhere a little better. Be careful with this, don't poke the foil.
Meat side
I'll
down.
run it down here, yep. So we got meat side down, and what that's gonna do as we wrap it up, it's gonna, all the liquid in the bottom of the butter, the sugar, and the honey, it's gonna sit there and just, not broil, but just almost broil. I don't know what do you think? Okay, same process on the bone side. Sorry, it's been a couple hours. I'm running out of. There's not much meat on the bone side, but I go ahead and put a little bit of that, not too much. Some butter
And some honey.
and a little bit of honey. And we're gonna do this 4 times. And we'll be back when they are ready. Well, I guess I can show you how we wrap. Like I said, they're double foiled. And everybody wraps differently, but I get them like this, because when I check them, it's easier for me. I go here, and then I fold over, get them pretty snug, and then you can just fold that over. Then when I want to check them, fold it out, unwrap them from the top.
Now we're gonna do this ×4, but we're gonna save you all the time.
That's right. After you've wrapped them, you can put them in the oven if you want, because once they're wrapped, you're not getting no more smoke to the meat. So a lot of times I'll put them in the oven, but for this purpose of the video, this barrel, since it's only a 30-gallon barrel, we have 4 racks of rib. We're gonna have to stack them on top of each other. If you'll look in here, so we got the baby backs here, stack them on top of each other, and every 15 minutes, I'm gonna take the one on the top, put it on the bottom, so they cook evenly. Other than that, we'll be back in just a little bit.
Okay.
We're right at 3.5 hours in, and we're gonna check them for doneness. And I don't know if I told you, but my pit barrel cooker runs from 275 to 305 or so degrees, and it's a set it, forget it type cooker. So we got a little pullback on some bones, and it doesn't look like they're ready, but we're gonna go ahead and check them. Like I said in the other video, but take a toothpick and go between the bones. If it's very, very smooth and no pull, they're most likely done.
Should be
They
like
are
melted
done.
butter.
Yeah, just say if you had a block of butter that was warm, in there and out, perfect. But these are not. I mean, that thing stuck and I was trying to pull it out. So they're not done. But I don't like to overcook them where they're falling off the bone. So we had to check. So just by the pullback on the bone, I can tell they weren't done. But that was the St. Louis style ribs. Before we put them back on there, we're gonna look at a rack of these baby backs to make sure, because they cook differently. St. Louis versus baby backs, they cook differently. And we got a lot of pullback on that. Not a lot, but every bone's pulled back, and this end one's definitely. So we're gonna try it, but they're not done as well. Either, sorry. So, everything's going back on. I'm gonna say another 20 or 30 minutes, something like that. This is another reason I hate baby back ribs. See how flat these lay? So flat, perfect. these curved so much, they've poked a hole in my foil. It's another reason I don't like baby backs. So, back on the smoker they go.
Okay. Check back in next time we check them. Okay, the final test to see if they're done.
We made a little bit of a mess, but that happens. So,
I'm here too.
all right, we got some good pullback. Now, that one is too much, but there wasn't very much holding that together on the end. But you can tell it's pretty consistent through here. So we're gonna take a toothpick and go between the bones and see how easily the toothpick comes out. These are really close. So I'm gonna put those back on. Just omit this. It's not the greatest rack of ribs.
Which side did you use for
So,
this?
but that being said, this one over here is perfect.
sweet.
So I flipped these up, meat side up now, instead of meat side down. Made a little tin foil boat. And I'll take some of this juice, brush it on with a brush, put it back on there for a few minutes and let it dry out a little bit. You can poke the next one, baby. Okay.
I'm here too.
All right, it's been a little over 4 hours, maybe 4 hours, 15 minutes, something like that. And these are the baby back racks. I'm going to test these. That was a little sticky, but
He means 4 hours since we started cooking them, not since y'all last.
I mean, that's
Not since a few seconds ago.
coming up pretty easy. If I was doing a competition or something, I'd probably let them ride for another 10 to 15 minutes. But I've got family yelling, "Where is the ribs?" So I'm probably going to let them ride for another 5 and then take them off.
Cool.
So that was one rack. We're gonna check this one right quick. I know this is too long for y'all. Watch it, baby. And these are done. It's like butter.
Yay!
Okay. So what we're gonna do, gonna make a little foil boat because they're meat side down right now, right? We're gonna make a little foil boat, and we're gonna dry the tops out a little bit. We're gonna flip them meat side up. Doesn't pretty, but put them on the grill for or the smoker another 10 minutes or so, and all this liquid will kind of not crust up, but firm up, and it's a better bite. It's not so sloppy like it is now. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll be back in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. They're done smoking. They were meat side down in the foil. We flipped them meat side up in the foil, put them back on the smoker for 10 minutes or so, just to dry some of this out. And here's the trick for anybody who wants to smoke some ribs. Wet down your cutting board, because if you stick a sticky piece of ribs right here, when you cut them and pull them up, it's gonna pull all the meat off the bones. So you need to have some kind of something down there. And I like cutting them meat side up because you can see the bones. And we'll just start here. And work our way through it. All right, let's see what we're looking like. Now, the end bones might fall out, and that's fine. If you're in a competition, what you're mainly concerned with is these middle ones. And we didn't do nothing fancy. We didn't sauce them. We didn't glaze them. We just threw them back on the smoker but yeah, that's it. Let's see the bite on them. Comes off clean, doesn't fall off the bone. That's a perfect competition rib. And Talia,
Hi.
She did all the work. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Subscribe. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Go subscribe and go subscribe to Ruby's Crazy Life. Her videos are pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you guys get out there and try your own either baby backs or St. Louis style ribs,
And like my videos.
let us know down below in the comment section of how it went and what your outcome was and if everybody liked it. Anyways, thanks a lot.
Thanks for watching.